we're doing states of matter.
States of matter, because water is about the only thing we have.
Oh, and we have solid here too.
We have solid, liquid, and gas. And the gas, there are different demos here. These have ice in the top, what they did, to replicate what happens in the clouds when it hits the cold layer of air.
You mean we're actually going to have a rainstorm in here?
We're just about ready. Whoops, we're just about ready to rain in there.
Oh, a tiny rainstorm.
Whereas this one, there's no big drops.
Why is that?
Because there's no ice.
Oh.
So the air temperature in there is much more even.
Mm-hmm.
And warm air will hold a lot more water than cold air. So when you make the air cold, it condenses a lot more water. And then it can't hold it all.
If that's the case, how come it doesn't rain all the time over deserts?
Because there's not enough moisture there to start with to condense.
We could bring it in, though, couldn't we?
We could.
Yeah.
When we figure out that people have been trying to do that for centuries.
Yeah.
So when they figure out how to do it,
yeah.
If you have a lake in the desert, you'll often see a little mist above it when the temperature changes.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see, that there is, if there's a cloud, it'll be over a body of water. But in the desert, because I used to live out in New Mexico for several years, we did get late afternoon clouds. Any available water would condense, because the upper layers of the air, of course, are much cooler. And that will hold less water.
And this is a demonstration of?
A demo, just for fun. It has nothing to do with the states of matter. But I'm challenging people to tell me how, turn it upside down, how does the water get down, and how does this water get up through the straw? And is it the same water? There's another tool here. All of our water is basically, all of our weather is formed by heat and water, and the differentiation of heat, taking away heat. And a lot of people think that there's heat and there's cold as two equal sort of things. And of course what we have is heat and less heat. Heat is a form of energy, cold is not. It is simply taking away heat. But our language, the way we talk about it, makes us think that it is something different. So that's basically, I teach 4, 5, 6 science, and we're doing weather right now.
Yeah. And this?
Okay, this is simply to show water pressure. What do you think will happen if you take the golf tee out?
If I take the golf tee out?
Out.
Well, it's a tiny hole.
It's a hole. So what will happen? What do you think will happen to the water?
Oh, some of it might dribble out, but it depends on how small the hole is and surface tension.
Surface tension, and there's something else going on here. You see how little air there is up top?
Yes.
The amount that will go out will equal that only. Practically nothing. But if I loosen the top, what's going to happen?
Well, you're going to let air in there, and it'll be less of a vacuum.
And that will press all the water out. So this is what I'm having the kids do, just then say, okay.
Yep.
It's great fun to get them to figure out what is happening. In this, there are tiny little holes at the bottom of the straw, and it's not one straw. You see they're offset?
It's 2 straws.
It's 2 straws. So one is getting water down there, but the other is taking water in each time some air bursts out and sending it up.
Yeah.
Because additional air, of course, air is changing place. It's a sealed system, but within that, you have the air and water moving around.